Greetings, Hempster. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of HempAware Radio, where we focus on what's most important. And today's show is Imagine Hemp New Zealand, and it's actually a company. So today I'll be chatting with Sean Doyle of Hemp New Zealand Ltd. Limited. But I just want to mention that if you have a hemp company and you want more traffic, leads, and sales, or if you're wanting to update your website or your brand in any way, then reach out to us on hempaware.com. We've got all sorts of great resources for hemp entrepreneurs and hemp companies to help them succeed online. And if you're ready, you can schedule a call today so we can help you make your hemp visions come to fruition. But anyway, I appreciate your attention and tuning into this empowering conversation we're about to have. I'm very thankful and excited to dive into today's show, as this topic is likely the most important aspect that I think hemp has as a value to humanity, being an essential food source. And so it was hemp food and hemp protein in particular that really got me to make a decision to focus on one thing in life as it relates to my career. And in fact, before creating HempAware and bulkhempwarehouse.com, for many years I used to provide sales services for different hemp companies, mainly based out of Canada. And it was a blast. I learned an incredible amount about hemp seeds as a nutritional source. And so I really look forward to diving into today's show to share with you the powerful benefits that hemp seeds have to offer as a protein source, a good quality fat source, and other phytonutrients that you can get from hemp seeds. And so let's dive right into it and bring Sean Doyle onto the show today from Hemp New Zealand. Welcome to the show, Shawnee. I appreciate your presence.
Good morning, Tyler. How are you, mate?
All is well. I know You're on the other side of the planet, just going into spring as we're going into winter. But I'm so glad that you could join me on the show, and would love to learn a little bit more about your background, kind of what your area of expertise is, and what led you up to working with Hemp New Zealand.
Yeah, sure, Tyler. So I've had a business-to-business sales background for just over 38 years now. And I was offered a role by a family that have bought into our company, and I didn't jump on board straight away. I had to do a little bit of research, and the more I read, the more I couldn't believe. And we're just talking about the food side of it. We're not talking about all the fiber and all the other bits and pieces that are coming. So for me, it was a real steep learning curve. I have been in the food industry previously. So what I've been doing is contacting all the large food manufacturers in New Zealand and Australia, and just trying to see if we can generate some interest in them making more nutritious food products for us. So that's basically what I've been up to.
Right on. So you have a background in sales and working with other food products, but then you came across hemp and just dove into it, learning as much as you can. And what is your position at Hemp New Zealand? Do you have an official title?
Yeah, I'm the sales manager for bulk ingredients. So I'm selling 50-pound bags of hemp protein, hemp seed, what we call bran over here, which is the food fiber that comes off the protein milk, and also hemp seed oil in 200-litre and 1,000-litre totes. So
right on. So you've got hemp seeds, hemp protein powder, the cake, the hemp seed oil. How is hemp perceived in New Zealand? Is it getting more and more popular, or what percentage of the population would say is consuming hemp food-based products?
Just like everywhere else in the world, Tyler, not many. That's the impression that I'm getting. I've been talking to other people around the world and trying to get an idea of what is happening for them over there. And I think we all have the same problem. And I don't know whether it's an industry thing that needs to fix it or not, but consumers need knowledge. Once they have knowledge, they can use it. And the true fact of hemp is that it's packed with protein, it's packed with fatty acids, it's packed with vitamins and minerals, and also dietary fibre. It's a very healthy, nutritious food. That is, nobody can say that it's not, but we can't get that message across clearly to the end consumers. I mean, most people, I believe, in New Zealand don't know what hemp is. And
do you think they're still living with a stigma in their mind that hemp is this weird marijuana product that they're kind of afraid of?
Yeah, totally. I mean, hemp was made illegal here in New Zealand back in the late 40s. So we only went legal with the food product. We've been selling hemp seed oil since 2008, but we only went legal with the food product in November. But we've just gone 4 years on Saturday this week.
Wow.
So it's, because of that distance, it's been, I mean, we were only using it in birdseed.
Right.
Okay, so everybody's used hemp and fed it to their birds, and what they don't understand is that their birds didn't get stoned, and the birds were actually quite healthy. That's the way I look.
Most certainly.
It's one of the things I show when I go and talk to food technologists and new product development people. I take them a small bag of whole hemp seed, and they get blown away by the size of them because nobody knows what it looks like. I say to the people, who here had birds as a kid? And most people have had budgies. A lot of people have had budgies. And I just
what are budgies?
Just little small, colourful birds.
Okay.
Parrots, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of birds.
Yeah.
And I just say to them, when you clean out the bottom of the cage, all those little tiny half shells were hemp. Right. And they sort of, oh my God, really? Yeah. So, it's a problem. I don't believe the problem is just New Zealand.
Right.
I'm starting to get the feeling that the whole world still doesn't really understand what hemp is. And I think you're right. I can't claim that I have knowledge of that, but that's just what it seems to be. I mean, there's a huge movement to go to vegetarian and vegan diets. And if that's the case, hemp should be high, very high on anybody's list. Yeah. Simply because of protein content. Exactly. You got over 30 grams of protein per 100 grams of feed for the deshelled hemp seed. And you've got protein flour. Well, that's, and it's all the amino acids, and they're all, the digestibility rate on those amino acids are over 90%. Exactly. So it's a good, healthy product for people that are looking for alternative sources of protein. End of story. The bonus of it is the deshelled hemp seeds actually have a very nutty flavour, which I find quite strange, and don't even mix them with chocolate ice cream and frozen berries. Exactly.
Yeah, it's so versatile. You can put it on breakfast meals, lunch meals, dinner meals, savory, sweet, all these different types of meals hemp seeds go really well with. I totally agree. It's definitely a staple in our family.
Yeah. So it's just trying to get the understanding from the general public. I mean, we had a number of food manufacturers here in New Zealand that launched product with hemp in it. And those companies, Tyler, have deleted the product.
Really?
And the reason for that is it doesn't sell.
Wow.
Hmm.
Do you think part of your marketing strategy involves a lot of education? Is that your guys' approach so that people are knowledgeable about what this is?
Well, interestingly enough, when I first started in this role, I would talk to food technologists and new product development people. They all knew what hemp was because they'd been traveling to trade shows all around the world. And they were trying products that were in their category, so to speak, and have hemp in it. And they'd think, that's interesting. They'd go around the corner and there's a hemp stand. So they go and talk to the people about hemp. A lot of those people, when I started, this was back in 2017, so early 2018 I started hitting the food manufacturers. They all had a very good idea when hemp was going to be legal. So the food manufacturers actually had the interest. But the general public didn't.
Right. So the people you were selling to may not be the end consumer, so they were knowledgeable, they're willing to invest in the product, but then they couldn't sell it because their customers didn't know what it was.
So, I mean, if you take an example, we have snack bars down here that we call muesli bars. I'm pretty sure you've got them up there as well. So, in essence, if you remove 5% or 10% of the carbohydrate in one of those and add a 50% hemp protein flour, you've actually really spiked the protein content of that product. You've just added, replaced 10 grams, you've just replaced it with 5 grams of protein.
Right.
So that's a huge, each bar is around about 40, 50 grams. That's a massive increase in protein. And, that protein keeps your stomach fuller longer, and that's the reality. So at some point, Tyler, this will change.
Yeah, no doubt. There'll be a tipping point when there's enough saturation of valuable information that's easy to understand and a clear message about what this product is and can do as a protein source and fat source. But I'm curious, so as a company with Hemp New Zealand, what would you say, do you guys sell more bulk wholesale to other companies, or you have your own finished retail product line, or what do you think that you guys sell more of in terms of product? And then do you sell mainly in New Zealand or all over the world?
No, at the moment we're just selling in New Zealand. We actually have our own range of products. It's called Hemp Farm in New Zealand. We produce oil, capsules, skincare, and then we also have the 500-gram retail packs of hemp protein and hemp hearts. So at the moment we're selling, because we've been selling hemp seed oil since 2008, that's our forte. And that's what the general public buy from health food stores, online, etc.
Right.
So we're looking at doing is we have to expand. This product is just too good not to. We have to get a good, clean, simple message out there. I've been involved in sales for too long, Tyler. I'm not a marketer, so I don't know how to do that.
Sure, yeah. It takes a whole team really to execute a full marketing strategy, which, marketing I think is the lifeblood of any business, but sales is right under the umbrella of marketing. It's absolutely essential, which kind of brings me to my next question. I'm curious, do you have specific sales strategies? Do you guys do outbound calls? Do you have mainly inbound sales? What kind of approach do you guys take as a company when it comes to sales?
It's all of the above. I personally, over the years, I've had a number of inquiries from all around the world. And some of, a lot of the work that I do takes a long time to come to fruition. I have some very large companies here that have already done factory trials on their products. They've completed their recipes, and they're just waiting. They're not launching the product. They've got the product ready to go, but they're just waiting to see how the market develops and responds. As far as outbound calls are concerned, that's what we have to do. I'm on the phone constantly. I'm seeing people. I'm talking to people. So it's the strategy. It's a simple strategy, but it has to be. If it gets too complicated, mate, nobody can follow it. So it's just a simple strategy.
Can you kind of describe the sales process for us? And knowing that other hemp entrepreneurs, listen to this radio show, they are doing their best to generate sales for their different products, whether it's a service or maybe a hemp fiber product or hemp clothing. Obviously, there's a little bit of different strategy in different markets, but what does your process look like? I mean, do you use specific tools, or is it just real basic email back and forth? What does that look like?
Well, essentially, I'll tell you what it is for me, because I'm just dealing with the bulk products. I don't have much to do with the wholesale and the retail side of the business. So for me, the way it works for me is contact. You have to create a contact, and you have to start a discussion. And it's it doesn't have to be a lengthy process, but it has to be started. If you don't start it, nothing's going to come. The other aspect, Tyler, is I've given product to companies 4 years ago, and I know that they've developed something, but they're not releasing it. So it's what I do doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. So the biggest thing for anybody out there that's listening that's with bulk food products, you have to be patient and you have to keep knocking on doors. And I don't know what the food safety laws are like in the United States, but down here they're very strict. We have a very strict process to go through in order to become a food company. So there's always so many questions that I answer from that. So you have to be good. You have to be good at doing everything, basically. And,
so essentially, you might do a little research online, maybe look for specific companies that maybe are health related or have other kind of protein type products in their product line, and you just maybe make a call or send an email, and then just keep following up. Make sure you make that initial contact and maybe get them samples if they need it. Find out what their needs are, and there is a sales expression I'm sure you're very familiar with. Is fortune is in the follow up. So I totally agree there. It's really about having that reminder system to keep following up with people until they're ready to buy.
Yep. So it's not for the faint of heart. And my first sales job, Tyler, I used to sell Hobart food equipment here in New Zealand. I'm a chef by trade. That was a tough job because you're dealing with very expensive pieces of machinery. So it was all around capital expenditure budgets, etc. This product is harder to sell. Because of the lack of knowledge of the general public. Excuse me. I'm recovering from a head cold.
You're fine. So what, other than, the lack of knowledge about hemp, what would you say have been some of the other biggest challenges that you and the Hemp New Zealand team have faced as a company, as a hemp company? What other things have you had to overcome, and how were you able to overcome some of those challenges?
Well, because we've only just recently put in our protein mill, and we're the first fully dedicated hemp food plant in New Zealand. So everything is done in-house. The challenges that we've faced over the years, and there's been lots. There has been huge amounts. But again, it's because the industry is new, it had to be expected. That's the way I look at it. We don't know, as we've never sold hemp seed before, we don't know anything about it. And we're trying to find out because we're producing it. And I mean, it's as simple as little things like which cultivars get you the biggest yield of oil.
Mm-hmm. What
cultivars are better for dehulling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one aspect. And then what cultivars generally give you a higher yield per hectare of growing. I mean, there is just it's never ending. In 30 years' time, Tyler, my company will be in a way better place because they will have that knowledge.
Right.
You know, I'm going to say it has not been easy. It really hasn't. And I mean, the way I've looked at it, this company has been a startup since I started because of the food side of it. With the oil, I mean, we could have grown those oil sales, and we were growing those oil sales, but then we had Mr. COVID turn up. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that the food side of the business is brand new. Right. And, you know, we can't be fixed in our looking at it. We've got to be flexible, and you have to be, because it's essentially a startup. Mm-hmm. So whilst it's been, you know, we did sell product for a time into the largest plant-based food manufacturer in Australasia. And I was absolutely over the moon with that. Mm-hmm. So has it been challenging? Yes. Has it been exciting? Yes. Has it been frustrating? Hell, yes.
So, it comes with all that. But in the end, when you wake up every day and you go to a job that you know is transforming lives or really serving people, increasing their health, increasing their overall well-being, it's I think easier to face that frustration or challenge when you know you're doing the right thing, you're doing something that's really contributing to society, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's even, you know, on a personal level, Tyler, you know, and I mean, we're just talking about the food side of things. I mean, the fiber side is just unbelievable.
Right.
And, you know, when you think that, it's like I say to my food techs and new product development people, when I leave them, I say, in 300 years' time, we'll still be learning what we can do with hemp.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a plant that keeps giving.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, I'm lucky because I still have the passion for it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's not easy, but I'm Irish and I don't give up. So,
exactly, right.
well, my father's Irish.
Yeah. Well, I have some Irish blood in me too, so I know that I got that go-getter attitude. But once I saw what hemp's potential was, I put in all my chips and realized this is my calling. And I know many others out there have that same feeling, and so they want the pointers, the insights, the tools to really succeed, because it's not enough to make a difference in the world when everything runs on money. And so making a difference and a dollar is really what we want to empower our listeners to be able to do. And since they've got the expertise on whatever hemp product they're making, our job is to help them sell that product. And so with Hemp New Zealand, you know, one of the things that, as you very well know, in sales is differentiating yourself and really having a unique position in the market. And certainly being the only hemp food manufacturer in New Zealand, you guys have an incredible head start. But if you were to describe maybe something else about the business, or maybe your processing, how you produce the material, what would you say is something unique or different from other hemp food manufacturers out there?
Well, I have been told that our hemp seed oil tastes better than Australian hemp seed. And that was from an Australian. So that's high praise for our product.
So it tastes better, cleaner, smoother?
Well, I don't know. He's a hemp grower. And when he tasted it on a Zoom meeting with me, and he just went, wow, this is really nice. This is way better than ours. That's his words, not mine.
Right.
He gave it to his assistant, who said exactly the same thing.
Wow.
So I think, and I put that down. It'll be a little bit to do with the growing conditions.
Okay.
But I'll put it down. We're limited to about 7 or 8 different cultivars that we're allowed to grow.
Okay.
So that's
not many.
So there's one. That's one differentiation. The other one is our new protein mill. It has no grit in it, and it basically has no flavour.
Interesting.
I've got a customer here in New Zealand who's adding 8% hemp protein to his product. And he's been using Canadian. We've been importing Canadian. Now that we are the first fully dedicated food plant in New Zealand where we produce everything in-house, we have him some hemp protein from the New Zealand mill, and he can't believe it. So there's the opportunity there for him to make. He could only add 8% of the Canadian product because it impacted the flavour of his product.
Right.
So I'm thinking out loud here and got both my fingers and toes crossed, but it looks like that they are striving to add packaging claims whereby we have to have 10 grams of protein per serving in our food products to have a claim about high in protein.
Okay.
We should be able to do that very easily with this new product from our protein mills. So I mean, I don't know because I've never tried any hulled hemp parts from any other country. But I'm guessing that that's largely going to be the same. So
are you guys using to get that smooth, clean, almost neutral flavor? Are you using a chemical process or a mechanical process?
It's a mechanical process. It's a mill that we bought out of Germany, and so it's, from what I can understand, a lot of, and I can only go by the Canadian because that's what I've been selling. That product is very gritty. They've got a dietary fibre content on that of around about 24 to 26%. Our product has 18. So our mill operates differently than the Canadians, clearly, because we can get a finer particle size. There's plenty there that sort of, when you discover all this stuff, you start thinking and going, wow, and so the potential is there. So it's
Well, and so that's definitely a differentiator. I mean, to have a smoother, less gritty product is a huge thing for the hemp industry, because typically, you run the hemp seeds through the press, you get that thick cake that's, very high fiber, and then you can mill it down and kind of sift it through a mesh screen to remove more of the fiber and increase that protein content. But it sounds like you guys are able to kind of do that right out of the gate, which is a really good differentiator. If somebody wanted to purchase from you guys, even outside of New Zealand, have you opened up your market to selling to other countries as well?
Oh, Tyler, we would love to talk to anybody that was interested.
Yeah, it's kind of exotic, knowing that hemp was grown in New Zealand and such amazing soil quality. Yeah, well,
I'm thinking this with regards to the flavour of our oil. I mean, that's probably the area that is our differentiation, is where we grow it. We grow a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We grow a lot in the South Island, and we've got there's two areas in the North Island, the Manawatu and the Wairarapa here in the North Island that we grow it. And that obviously that has an impact. I mean, the Australians grow hemp in Victoria and Tasmania and New South Wales and Queensland. But they then have issues with flooding and with fires, etc. So,
wow.
It's an interesting. Because I'm not sure what the growing conditions are like for hemp in Australia, but in New Zealand it seems to grow very easily. We believe that up north, at the top of the North Island, we could actually get 2 crops a year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of, I mean, on the 30-year bucket list type, there's a lot of good stuff around.
For sure. So kind of more on the topic of sales, since that's your area of expertise, and sales is a big topic here on the show, just helping our listeners with their sales. What would you say, have you observed other hemp companies or just other health food or protein companies in general? Have you noticed, any mistakes that these companies are making when it comes to selling their products, or any pointers that you can provide them to help them improve their sales?
I don't know if I can help improve their sales, but the way I look at it, there is a number of companies out there doing protein isolate, and those are basically proteins that have had everything else stripped off, so they're essentially a protein.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe there's a company in the States that are doing an 80% hemp protein, and that has 1.2 grams of dietary fiber per 100. So it's basically pea protein, again, that has a very, very strong flavor, so it needs to be masked.
Mm-hmm.
The hemp protein itself has everything in it. Minerals, vitamins, protein, dietary fiber, you name it, it's in there. And I'm not a big fan of protein isolate.
Right.
I mean, I've got a couple of customers here that sell protein for bodybuilders.
Mm-hmm.
And we have interesting discussions around this, not just on the basis that you guys need, because of what they're doing with their body, they actually need a higher amount of food, dietary fiber, and we actually have that product. So the shell that we set off our protein, we've got to have a dietary fiber of over 50% fiber, but there'll also be about 15% protein in there as well.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit. I'm actually putting some of that with my muesli every morning, Tyler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Well, I totally agree. I think one of the biggest things about an isolated nutrient is that it doesn't come with all of the phytonutrients and cofactors to help metabolize and break down and digest that nutrient in the body. I mean, when you eat, something like an avocado, that avocado comes with lipase enzymes which help break down the fats. And, same with these different protein sources. If you're just isolating one compound, I just have a hunch that your body's not going to take it in as easily. It's not going to be as bioavailable, as they say. So I think in that way, you're absolutely right. It's more bioavailable to the body, and the body recognizes it more and just provides a wider range of nutrients.
Well, at the end of the day, the way I'm a real simple guy. But it's all about balance. And if you've got something, you've got an isolate, you're going to have to put so many other things with it. And all you're doing is reducing the amount of protein. Every time you add something to it, you're reducing the amount of protein. So why not go for a lower value protein that you don't have to add anything to?
Right.
I mean, that's just a simple way that I look at food.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's anybody out there listening that would like a discussion around the selling of bulk hemp, I mean, please put my email address up somewhere, Tyler.
Yeah, please share it with us now. What are the best ways that people can contact you or directly on the Hemp New Zealand website? How do they reach you? How can they get a hold of you and place an order?
Just go to hempnz or nz.co.nz. And if you go to the bulk page, you'll see my contact details on the bottom. Just click the link and you can send emails to your heart's content.
Yeah. Well, there will definitely be a link in the description for this show. And for those that are listening live, just go to hempnz for New Zealand.co.nz and take a look at their products. Definitely thankful to know about you guys and appreciate what you're doing, bringing these quality hemp food products to the market. Do you have any last thoughts or any other little nuggets of advice that you'd like to share with our hemprepreneur listeners?
Never, ever, ever give up. Keep going. You'll get there. It may be a hard road, but you will get there. That's the message, everybody.
Amen. Well, I appreciate you, Shawnee. Thank you so much for being on the show today, and thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of HempAware Radio, where we empower and hempeducate your hemposphere with what's most important to you. We believe that making a difference is essential, but knowing how to make a dollar with your hemp products is really what we're about here. So check out hempaware.com if you want to get some branding or marketing advice or strategies. And thank you for tuning in to another hempisode. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, Tyler. Anytime, mate. Nice talking to you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.